Hello students, this is Professor Lorenzo and we're back, and this is part 2 of the analytical essay and outline creation. Hopefully before you started this particular video, you went back to week 3 module 3.2 OH. Of course, you know OH stands for online hybrid, and taking a look at, or rather read the story Miracles by Lucy Corin. You can download that and print it, or you can just read it right off the screen. It's up to you. But this is what we're going to base our outline on. So if you haven't read it yet, you'll get another chance to read it in a few minutes. But first, we want to touch on a couple of small items, just review some things before we go back to starting our outline. So we want to remember this, and we've talked about this already, but if you remember, every essay and every paragraph needs a topic sentence, also known as what? That's right, the hook. And a topic sentence states the main point of a paragraph, and it serves as a mini thesis for the paragraph. So again, here it says you might think of it as a signpost for your readers or a headline. So try to remember, or you must remember, what a topic sentence is. We talked about it last week if you need to go back and take a look at it again. Also, after the topic sentences, we have our supporting sentences. They give the details, develop and support the main idea of the paragraph. And there's an example here if you need to take a look at that. And then, of course, we have our concluding sentence. Remember, at the end of our first paragraph, our concluding sentence will be our thesis. And we're going to work on a little bit more on theses and to use them in order to craft the rest of our essay. So try to remember that these 3 items are important. And now we'll go to our outline structure. Now, the first outline we create is going to be a little bit different than the analysis essay outline. An analysis essay outline is different because it has a few more features in it. But we're going to start with this one, and then later we'll be able to make it a little bit easier with the standard outline. But when we go over the standard outline, you'll be able to use that outline for virtually almost any essay you do in college, okay, except for literary analysis, and except if your professor tells you to do something different, of course. All right. So let's write an outline. So as I asked you to do earlier, we need you to open up Word. So if you haven't done that right now, go ahead and open up Word and stop right here. Stop where you see blank document and any other Word files you might have in there. So I'll give you just a minute or so to get there, just in case you haven't done it already. Hopefully you're there by now. So what we want to do is we want to go to More Templates. Once we're on this page right here, go to More Templates. And once we're in More Templates, we're going to search for an essay outline. And this you'll be able to use this template, this essay template, for the rest of your career. So I'd advise you to, the rest of your college career. So I'd advise you to pay close attention to it and to save a copy of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in essay outline. And as you can see, I already have one here, but I'm going to type it in anyway just to show you how it works. So essay outline, search, and this is going to pop up. You should only have one template pop up. We'll open it up, and once you open it, close out this window here. Once you open it, you'll see this template. And the reason I like this template is because besides being the proper structure for an outline, it also gives you an indication of what you need to do. Each section here is going to represent a paragraph in your essay. For the essay you'll be doing this week, you're going to be writing a 5-paragraph essay. So what I want to do is I want to set this template up so all that I'm doing is a 5-paragraph essay. Now, keep in mind that the introduction, including A, B, and C, will be your first paragraph. Your second paragraph is going to be your first main point. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of all this stuff, because the reason you see A, B, C here is because each one of these, A, B, and C, represents a paragraph. So this particular template is, if you look at the introduction, 1 paragraph, your first main point, then your support A, support B, support C, that's actually 3 paragraphs. So A, B, and C are 3 paragraphs, so that's 4 paragraphs. Then you got your second, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you got your conclusion. This is a template for an 11-paragraph essay. But we're going to break this down so that it's just a 5-paragraph essay. So what we'll do is we'll get rid of these. Let's see here, start right there. We'll get rid of those, just so we're not confusing ourselves. All right. And what was that all about? I don't know. Why did that come up with a 2? Really shouldn't be anything there. There shouldn't be anything here. So what we have now is we have a template for a 5-paragraph essay. So the introduction, which says capture reader's interest, that first, that's a 1 sentence that represents your hook. All right. B, build case through logic. That's going to represent your supporting sentences. And C is going to be your concluding sentence in that paragraph, and also your thesis statement. So introduction will be 1 paragraph. Your first main point will include 1 paragraph. Your second main point will include 1 paragraph. And your third main point will include 1 paragraph. And then your conclusion will be your 5th paragraph. Follow me on that? By the way, I told you earlier that this was going to be a 2-video lesson. I can see right now it's going to be a 3-video lesson. So sorry about that. You're going to have to put a little extra time into this lesson. But most of the time it won't be, most weeks it won't be that way. You only have one video to look after. But this particular, lesson, creating an essay, is so important towards you being successful in this class, and not just in this class, and the rest of your college career, that we need to spend some time on it. And you need to get very good at writing outlines, okay? Because it will, I'm telling you, it will bring you better grades. So this is our 5-paragraph template. Remember what we did was we read the story. And where is our story? I'll go back and find it here. So remember we read the story Miracles by Lucy Corin. And this is what we're going to be basing this outline exercise on, this particular story. Now, as I said, a analysis essay outline is different than other outlines in that it has a few features that need to be included more than just our typical A, B, and C. So what I've done, and you can do this also, this particular file is in this week's Canvas lesson, so you can go and copy and paste it if you want to. But what I've done is I've copied and the first section of the analysis essay outline, and I'm going to input that in this outline. So let's get rid of that. Put all that in there. And this is going to be paragraph 1, or introduction. Now take a look at the acronym here, HATMAT. That's the easiest way to remember what you need to include in your first paragraph for analysis essay. HATMAT includes the hook, the author, the title, your main characters, a short story, a short summary of the story, and then your thesis. All right. So when you read the story, I'd advised you in the previous lesson that you should have been finding 3 things that you want to write about. And if you remember, those 3 things had to do something with either the elements of fiction. You can write about metaphor. You can write about, simile, or we could write about story structure, which we talked about. Story structure is probably more than you want to tackle, because it will require you writing a longer essay right now. But anyway, you need to define 3 aspects of miracles that you wanted to write about. And what I decided I wanted to write about, and we'll put this in writing here in a little bit, okay? I wanted to write about how the Black Widow spider in the story symbolized a problematic mother. In other words, a mother who abandoned her kids. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, because Black Widow spider has all kinds of symbolizations in literature. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but I'm just letting you know that's the 3 things I thought about. I haven't formulated my ideals on it yet, but that's what I decided I was going to write about. So, if I was going to write my introductory paragraph, what I would first do on this outline is I would write my hook. Now, I don't think you would come up with a hook as fast as I can or whatever, but it's going to take a little bit more thought on your part. But I'm going to show you the process we go through. So maybe I would come up with a hook, something like, so my hook might be, the Black Widow spider has always been the symbol for an evil woman. So that might be my hook. I'm not saying that's a good hook, but that might be my hook, okay? The next thing I would include is the author. Lucy Corrin, and I would incorporate the title in with the author. Lucy Corrin, short story, and here comes the title, Miracles. Did I spell Corrin right? You students know I'm always spelling stuff wrong, so terrible for an English professor to spell stuff wrong. But Lucy Corrin's short story, Miracles, is a great representation of this theme. Right? So I've included the author and title in the same sentence. So then I go down here to the main characters, okay? The story utilizes, this is going to be first person narration to tell the story of a child's history. That's not a good one. It should be a little bit better right there. So I've got the character in there, and I'm also talking a little bit about the short story, a little bit about the summary. So my summary is going to finish up like, the story utilizes first narration to tell the story of a child's painful history. Let's add that. That's a little better. Corrin utilizes the spider to symbolize the child's and his siblings' neglectful mother, and how the father tries to relieve them of the pain. So this video is almost over. We're going to start the third one with our thesis and then conclude this lesson.